Welcome, everybody.
There we are. Can y'all hear me? I can't hear anything. Perfect.
I can hear you.
All
Okay.
right. So we're in, everybody. We are live. Okay, so welcome to another episode of Sister Cipher. I'm going to be moderating today. Lakesha Jordon will be our guest host. I just want to open us up, set the tone, and I do have some questions in case people are, we're flowing and we might need another perspective. I believe we want to add one more person here, and then we're good to go. Welcome to another powerful conversation here on the Sister Cipher. Tonight, we're diving deep into an important question that Lakesha, our guest host today, came up with. So the question is, are generational habits in the African American community helping us move forward or holding us back? We'll be unpacking this from a cultural perspective with our incredible panel of voices, wisdom, and lived experiences. Together, we'll look at how we can preserve what is sacred in our heritage and while letting go of what no longer serves us.
Yeah.
And because this space is also about uplifting and celebrating our people, we're excited to introduce a brand new segment called Celebrate You. This is where we honor ordinary people doing extraordinary things within our communities and beyond. People who inspire, uplift, and remind us of our brilliance. And tonight is our very first Celebrate You moment. And then I'll go into moderator mode and welcome everybody. And Lakesha, hi.
Hello, hello, hello. Thank you again, Sister Sparkle, for the opportunity. And one of the things that there's many things that we want to look at when it comes to some of our cultural habits. And as this had initially started out as a discussion between Sparkle and I, one of the things that we want to dig into first, we want to look at habits that maybe help in the community, some of the traditions that basically gave us strength. So I'll say, unfortunately, for many of our ancestors, they were always in survival mode, as you all know, due to like slavery, segregation, and things like that. And these factors contributed to them developing ways to survive, such as what they ate, how they raised their children, and how they dealt with pain they held in. And some of these traditions that gave us strength, some of these traditions, of course, we know they gave us strength, while some of them, of course, they were habits that weren't necessarily good for us, we should say. But we want to discuss tonight what one generational habit in your family or community has been a blessing to you, because we want to start out by acknowledging that there are some habits that have been a blessing. Back then let me back up. We wanted to discuss what are some of the habits that helped the African American community back then. And I'm hoping that you guys can have some input and we can start. And I have to apologize, I cannot see your names. It's tiny on my screen. If you, Sparkle, can see names and care to help, I would be so appreciative. Oh, that's right. She's off.
Oh, there we go. So I just want to first come off with a sound check. How does everybody sound? Do we all sound good to one another? Because
I hear you.
Yes.
okay,
I
because
can.
I was told that we might sound a little choppy. Is it still choppy, Kay?
No, it sounds great, Sparkle.
Okay. All right. So Lakesha, you asked me a question. I'm sorry, I was preoccupied.
Oh, I'm so sorry. I was saying, because the names are really small on my screen, I have to apologize that I cannot see the names. I believe this young lady here is, may we start by introducing ourselves? I do.
Ah, okay.
We'll start there.
All right, that sounds good.
Thank
I
you.
suggest we start in order of appearance, and who got here first? That would be you. But
Yes.
so I guess I want to start with say who you are, Lakesha, something that we might not know, and what was the inspiration behind this topic?
Well, my name is Lakesha Jordon. Something that you guys may not know is that I'm a writer. I love to write, and I'm a deep thinker. So, what inspired this topic is the trials I had to overcome, and I know that there are many people that can share the experiences when it comes to what we had to overcome. In that process, there were things that I realized as I got older and wiser. In the process, there were habits I realized I had to let go of. I had to stop with certain they were actually hindering my growth. And so because of that, I was like, this is a very good topic because there are many people that may have gone through things in life and feel like, wait a minute, this is a habit, but they feel like they're bound to these things because of the fact that it's been passed on from one generation to the next. I felt like it'd be great to just discuss, are there certain habits that help or hinder our community? What can we do about them and things like that? So that is just the gist.
Thank you. All right, and next, Diane, I would like to ask you, when I introduced this topic to you, what did you think? As well as introducing yourself to our listening audience.
Okay. I'm always interested in the stuff that Sparkle does because Sparkle does a lot of things to help our community. And when she told me about it, I said, yes, I'd be willing to be a part of it. Um, just a little bit about myself. Um, I am pastor of Agape Ministries here in Utica, New York. And I've been a minister for the past 30 years. And God is truly an awesome and a wonderful God. And I pray that I will be a part of this, a good part of this discussion today, because I'm getting ready to have my 79th birthday.
Yes.
So, so I've been through a lot. I've dealt with a lot, but I'm still here. So I thank God.
Your wisdom is so necessary and appreciated. Thank you.
You're welcome. Thank you.
And yeah, Carius, I believe Kenitra might be joining us again. She was experiencing some technical difficulties. And yeah, Carius, please tell us who you are and when you heard about this topic, what were your thoughts?
Oh, I for me to so call. And I just pretty much heard about it within the last 24 hours. But it my thoughts
You're breaking up.
You coming in and out.
I'm still breaking up.
Yeah.
You sure it's not StreamYard? That's unusual for a few of us to be having problems. I
Yeah.
mean,
Yeah.
I normally don't. I'm still breaking up right now?
No, you're good right now.
Okay. I was saying that I didn't really have a thought about it until you guys was discussing it at the beginning of the show after the intro. Then I started thinking, asking myself some questions like when we're talking about generational habits, how far do we go back, right? Because we only so old. Like how many generations do we go back that that we personally have knowledge of without having to do research and see what was written, right? So that was really my first thought. My second thought, it kind of lines up with something that I consider a generational bad habit, but you're focusing on good. So I'm struggling to think of a good habit that came from the generation that I'm from. I'm 70, so um, till now. That's the only thing I have compared. There are some changes, not too much of it is good. I'm really struggling. It's sad to say I'm struggling to think of something that good that came along. Not to say that nothing haven't, but I'm struggling right now.
Would you
Um,
would you
mhm.
say the struggle is because you don't see some of the habits that you feel were good habits carried forward? Or would you say that you're struggling because you see habits from the past that you feel still exist but are not so good?
Both, actually.
Okay.
I think you hit it on the head that we had habits simply from my generation that's not carried to the next, as you
Correct.
pointed out. So I agree with that one. And yeah, and most of the habits are bad that I'm seeing that that is obvious from, some things have not changed amongst our people. And so some of those bad habits that we had were brought to this generation and kind of enhanced, so to speak. Like it's
Well,
just getting a little more crazy.
we're definitely going to have a moment to discuss bad habits because nobody's
Okay.
getting off scot-free here. And no part of our
Okay.
generation
All
is
right.
getting off
All right.
scot-free here. However, we want to actually dig into the idea, like, realistically speaking, we were going to church back then. It was real nice cultural community, different foods and things like that. Now, while we can think of a ton of bad things, even if you narrow it down to some of the foods that have been passed on from one generation to the next, let's start putting ourselves in the mindset of at least saying, while I may think there are many bad things that were passed forward, can you at least name maybe some foods that were a part of the culture that got passed forward that you're like, yes, I'm glad we kept that in our culture? Or, maybe some sorts of events that we participate in, every year that may have actually helped coming from the generations past.
So I have thought of one. I just said it. That is the churches, because I say they're the real community centers. Those are the original community centers of our people. Before we had these other brick and mortars, it was the church. That was
Yes.
the center of where we met, where we congregated, where we worshiped, where we ate and laughed together, where we helped one another. They say even banking came from the concept of banking came from black churches, because we can go to the black church and get a loan if the insurance was, and then the banks just went on and said, well, we're going to do this. This is a good idea. We'll charge interest, where the churches wasn't doing that. We just pay us back. So,
True.
so bringing the churches, that is a good thing. And they still exist. It's probably the only grounded thing we have in our communities. Everything else is chaos. At least from what I'm seeing. I don't know every neighborhood in the country or in the
Right.
world, but from just what I'm seeing.
What about you, Pastor?
Well, I can agree with what he's saying about the churches because in the church, you were sister so and so or brother so and so, whereas in your community, a lot of times you were considered nothing. And the church does play a big part in the lives of people, even though it's a little different now than it has been years ago.
I actually have a question for you, Lakesha, if you'd be so kind, while I ask it. Um, the first one is, what traditions do you believe are non negotiable for us to preserve? Looking back over your lifetime, which generational habits help us rise and which ones hold us back?
Yeah, right.
You can't hear me?
I- that's for Lakeisha, right?
Oh, no, that was for
Yes.
Diane.
Oh,
Oh, okay.
Oh, I
Well,
wasn't clear. I
you
apologize.
said, I thought you said Lakeisha. You did say
You
Lakeisha.
did, you did.
Oh.
Okay, okay. It is important for us, to preserve the values of love, trust, faith, and forgiveness. A lot of times we fail to forgive, and we hold these these bad feelings toward other people, and in the meantime they're going about their life, and you're the one that ends up becoming sick from it.
Wow. That I'm gonna ask you that same question. Yeah, Karis. While we waiting for Lakesha to
Sure.
come back and
Could you
join, but
repeat it?
I sure can. Hold on a second. I'm just getting to it. I'm just getting to it. I'm over here moderating, and I need about four other hands. Yeah, y'all can lend me y'all hand set of hands real quick.
You okay? Take your time.
It says, "What traditions do you believe are non-negotiable for us to preserve? Looking back over your lifetime, which generational habits help us rise, and which ones still hold us back?"
So I think the one tradition that we had as a people that I saw coming up, and it was probably the end of it, um, is when, you know, it didn't matter where you was at. If you was a child and you was acting up, if another parent saw you, they knew your parents, they had permission to discipline you and set your butt home. And the kids respected it. Parents can't do, strange parents or parents can't, they're afraid to do that today. You're afraid somebody might pull out a gun and shoot them, tell them to mind their business, right? But back then we had respect for, and was nervous and didn't want to, go home and face this, and I think that helped steer some of the young out of the streets. Maybe not everybody, but I think it had an impact. Um, the one bad habit that I'm really going to make an issue out of, and what I'm doing now is our salt and sugar intake. That is a really big issue right now. We're not taking it serious. We know we have high blood pressure as a people, and yet we do not do anything to protect ourselves from the salt, right? I'm not saying this is true for anybody, everybody. And the same thing with the sugar. We know the dangers of it. Everybody probably knows at least one person that lost their sight and a limb from diabetes, but yet we're not taking this serious. We're still, the habit is we like the taste of it. We like 3 or 4 sugars. That's a habit, and we can break that by cutting it down to 2 sugars. We could break the salt intake by not putting salt on everything, trying to get used because both of them white stuff substances is unhealthy and is killing us for real. So those habits I would love to see eradicated.
Okay,
Well,
thank you.
I can also agree with you on that one, because I I work in a place where they serve food,
Mhm.
and it's so interesting when you watch people, because they pour the salt on the food and they haven't even tasted yet.
Exactly. Right. Right. Another bad habit.
Yes.
Hmm. Unhealthy too.
I am so sorry, guys. It's storming. I did not expect the power to go out momentarily. I don't know
Um,
if y'all can hear
I'm
me.
so happy that you're
Yes.
back.
Yes. Glad
I
that you're back.
absolutely apologize.
Welcome back.
I'm in
Hey.
the South. You never know what's gonna happen. So it shut down the internet, everything. So I do apologize, guys.
Welcome
Thank you for
back,
your
Lakesha.
patience.
Absolutely. You know what I was remiss to mention is that a brief intro about generational habits, including like what you said about the patterns of food. So you got family patterns, you got survival strategies, traditions. I just wanted to ask our listening audience who I wanted to highlight in the chat right now, and I wanted to ask them, um, do we carry habits that keep us rooted, or are habits that are keeping us stuck? Do we carry habits that are keeping us rooted, or are we um wait, excuse me, let me start over. Do we carry habits that are keeping us rooted, or habits that are keeping us stuck? And I wanted to highlight CJ, who tells hello everyone to us. Thanks for
Hey,
watching. She's
CJ.
watching on YouTube.
That's
And
my little sister in Alaska. Hello to everyone in Alaska showing us love right now.
oh, welcome, Alaska. That's wonderful. Because Alaska,
Hey, Alien, that's my big bro right there. Kiva, hello, right in New York City. Thank you
wow,
guys for showing us some love.
peace and blessings.
Yes.
And congratulations and happy birthday comes from, I remember a topic earlier. And Alien Bone says accountability we need to start using.
Come on now.
And no
Exactly.
problem. She's saying no problem for supporting. That's wonderful. I just wanted to, I think that's delightful that people from Alaska are watching. There's a time difference, correct? Is that
Yes, ma'am. I let them know. I put them on speed dial. And sis, if you watching, hit up Tamara and Dale. Let them know I'm on. We got a
wow.
lot of Alaskan family, a lot of extended family out there. And I spent 25 years out there getting away from what we knew as normal because we realized it just wasn't okay. It's normal. Normal does not equate to okay.
Mm. So, what is the time difference? Just out of curiosity.
We're on the East Coast right now, so it's 4 hours backwards. You got to count
4
backwards,
hours
4 hours.
backwards.
Correct.
Wow.
It is
Wow.
currently 3:24 in Alaska.
Wow. Hi, Alaska. And the other
Mhm.
thing is, you actually ran for mayor in Alaska. Is that correct? Wow. I just
That is
wanted our
correct.
listeners
In
to.
2019, kind of shocked everybody in the community, and it was also one of those things where people that knew me from the community were really excited because it was grassroots. It was me wanting to kind of relieve people of the level of apathy that they felt. And one of the things that I will say, while we are discussing these generational habits in the
Yeah.
African American community, I do want to also acknowledge that while we have our things, you can find things in every community. And so there was a high level of apathy where I was when it came to voting, when it came to engagement. And I said, you know what? I want to try to put myself into a space where I start door to door and help people come into this process, at the least to listen. And so, yeah, I won third place out of four different candidates. But for me to not even to be the only one that was non-political at all and still win third place, to me, that was huge. Plus,
Yes.
they had the children's school voting, and I won first place in Fairbanks amongst all my babies. So shout out to all my Alaskan babies,
Yay.
because I
Yes.
know some of them are watching right now too. I sent them links. Thank you
Oh, wow.
guys.
Imagine if the children could vote, right? I think we'll have a
Exactly.
whole different world.
Exactly.
Okay, I just wanted to talk about that for a moment. All right,
Thank you.
I'm back on the side moderating. I got to get used to this.
Let me know where we left off at though, because you know the this light kind of did me not so nicely.
Oh, okay. So I actually asked Diane a question about and got curious a question about um the traditions. I actually I don't even remember the question I asked them, to be honest with you. Um, one of them probably do.
Oh,
And
traditions, patterns, and cycles being passed down from
yeah,
one family. Okay,
something along
I'm a
those
note
lines.
taker. I got this.
Yes.
Okay. Um, all right. And so I did not get to hear you guys' response. I'm sorry. However, did they take care of at least addressing that particular topic? Or would someone have anything further to say?
No, I think that was covered. We can move along to the next
Okay.
talking point.
Okay. And I think this is the part where Yacarius gets a chance to tell it like it is, and I don't blame you. This is the part where we actually stop and talk about the habits that we feel that have been pulled forward that are hindering our community. And I already saw Kiba said something that made a lot of sense. Alien Bone said something that made a lot of sense. We'll get more into that later, but go ahead.
Okay, I'll show. But
Yes, please.
there's a I, so I talked about salt and sugar. You mentioned
We can't hear you, sir. Your mic's cutting in and out.
How
Maybe
about
if you can
now?
get a little bit
How
closer.
about
Hey,
now?
Tamara.
How about now?
That's much better. Much
Okay.
better. Thank you.
You know what I think it is because I'm trying to sit it on this phone stand and it's blocking the speaker. So I'm going to hold it in my hand. Sorry,
Thank
guys.
you.
So you missed, I was talking about salt and sugar being a bad habit that we brought from,
Mm,
you know, that's one that you missed. So when you go back and watch it, you could probably just miss that little segment that me and, but the other thing, I think the biggest thing is emotionalism. I think
mm,
that's what we bring from the generation that hurts us. It has some benefits, a gift and a curse, but for most part, it's a curse to most of us because we become emotional in situations, out in public, at the doctor's office, at court, different places that it
right.
doesn't require where we're supposed to be calm and thinking. Um, and what I've noticed today, we even have it in church. The way churches worship is based on emotionalism because you can go to other denominations, you go to Catholic, and they're not emotional. It's Baptist churches where we shouting and singing but that's because we're emotional people and we like to express ourselves that way. It's not part
Yeah.
of the worship, it's part of our culture and our
Mm-hmm.
habits, right? So
Yeah.
I realized that the day that all the shouting and the worshiping, that's us just being emotional, black people, and we are. And that's
Mm,
all right if we getting closer to God that way. But when we're just out of control with our emotions and we're just screaming and yelling and arguing, then that's one of the things I think that's hurting us as a people. We have a bad stigma when it comes to it. People are afraid of us
exactly.
as a result of it. And I think it keeps us separated. We're quick to get angry with each other instead of forgiving and trying to be, understanding. That's
I
just my
agree.
point of view. Yeah.
I do too.
Thank you. I was about to ask you, Pastor Hodges, what about you? May you extend some of your expertise, please?
I will do my best. Okay. Okay. One of looking back over your lifetime, which generational habits helped us rise and which still hold us back. Well, I think the one that helps us rise is for us to care about each other, to show love and
Yes.
compassion to each other, and to forgive each other. And
Mm.
one of the things that hold us back is a lot of times our family members tell us you're this, and you're never going to be anything, and you're
Oh,
always going to be dumb, and you're stupid. And these are the things that hold us back because you know what? Kids believe what they tell you.
exactly.
Yes.
And so, would you say that that becomes an extension of that parent's generational trauma that they are now passing on? Because I always say you cannot give me what you don't have. So, if you are not one that is still full of trauma, full of hatred for the person you're comparing that child to, you would never make a comparison of the person that you are comparing that child to because there's still some things you're holding on to
Right.
regarding that person you're calling them. So would you say from your perspective that that is kind of like evident of the fact that there's so much trauma still in existence that even in those situations we are witnessing it being passed down from one
That's right.
generation to the next?
That's right. That's right. You're
Okay.
100% correct.
All right. No, I really appreciate that. And I agree with you. I think one of the things that Alien Bone, aka Kiva Bones, aka one of my favorite people, mentioned in the comments section was that we also do not have the necessary level of accountability for the things that we are doing. You definitely made it very clear. Yeah, yes. Please pronounce your name, sir, one more time. I'm so sorry. The gentleman at the bottom.
Oh, yeah,
Um,
carriers? You can call me
Yakarius,
Kamal.
thank you, Yakarius.
All
I
right.
said I feel like you made a very good point when you were basically making it clear that there's just a lot of things that we have not dealt with, that we're emotional and different things like that. However, we have to also look at the fact that there's no changing going on if nobody is accountable, if no one's holding anyone accountable, and we're always pointing outward, like this person, it's them, it's that. um from you guys' perspective, because y'all have been blessed enough to be around way longer than I have. However, from you guys' perspective, would you say that there is less sense of accountability now compared to back then? And if the answer is yes, there is less accountability. Who would you say was holding people accountable back then compared to now?
That's a good question.
Okay. What do you think, Pastor? Are you curious?
So you missed that little segment. What I was saying was that I had mentioned while you was going through your issue with the thunderstorm or whatever that one of the good things, I did think of something. One of the good things from the generation that I grew up in was that, children just couldn't run the neighborhood and do a lot of things. Every
Mm-hmm.
parent was responsible. Every parent stepped up, and the child respected it. They didn't pull out a gun and try to shoot them. Say, mind
Exactly.
your effing business. We respected that, and we was afraid to go home because you might even get disciplined by them. It was okay.
Yes.
That's one of the good things that I think is missing. Hopefully that answers your question because you kind of. So
Yes,
that's
it
what we
did.
need. We need to get back to
The
me. The
village
roots.
raising the children, the
Yeah.
village raising the children
Right. Right.
respectfully.
I
Yes.
think the root of our issue as a people, one of the one of the roots is our family structure has
Mm,
decayed to
True.
almost nothing. That's the one
True.
thing. And I wanted to add to what you were saying, Pastor um Diane, that um when you was talking, we can't forget that we was taught to hate ourselves.
hmm
Let me
Yes.
repeat that. We was taught and groomed to hate ourselves for hundreds of years. This was
Right.
done to last hundreds of years, and we're still feeling the residue of it. When you
Very
tell a
good point.
child, you're gonna tell your child that you gave birth to this black little beautiful child, you're never gonna be nothing. You stupid. You ain't gonna never.
Mhm.
How do you? Is what kind of grooming and nurturing is that? That's coming from a place of self hatred that but it's deeper than that. Like I said,
It's generational.
and it was
Exactly.
psychological too. It's so instilled and ingrained in us, we don't even realize it.
That is very deep and true. And I really thank you for that. It was another thing that, in relationship to what you were saying, when it comes to like the different trauma and stuff like that, some of the other poor habits that I know Sparkle and I had also discussed was the reality that, we also come from a I'll say for me, I'm almost 50, but we've come from a generation where I didn't die when I was beat. But yet no one was teaching us how to productively deal with our emotions. No one taught us how to express ourselves in a positive manner, or even how to build ourselves even when we were in the midst of, for example, being in the wrong. So yeah, I can be wrong, you can beat me, but where is the love being poured into me in order for me to know that, yes, while I'm wrong and I'm being held accountable, it doesn't make me the worst person in the world. So um, the disciplinary methods also, from then, I feel, in fact, I'm going to ask you guys, how do you feel the transition of discipline has changed over time?
Well, back in my day, discipline was you would get a behind cutting, okay? And nowadays, I am happy to say, because I've raised my children. I helped raise my five grandchildren. And one of the differences that I find today is that we're no longer beating up our children. We're talking to them. We're explaining to them what they did wrong, why it was wrong, and why you shouldn't do it. And
Yeah.
we always back it up with these words. I love you. I
Right.
love you. I may have to be rough with you. I may have to punish you, but I will always love you. And I can write a book on how many times I've said that to my children and grandchildren.
Right. Right. No, that is true. So because of the fact that we've had so many destructive things that followed our culture forward, I was gonna say, how do you guys think the the influence from the past has hindered us when it comes to education and financial stability and just financial literacy and those things across the board?
Repeat that question.
So the question is basically, when you look at the things that have hindered us from the past, how do you feel that, for example, education and financial literacy and just banking institutions, how do you feel like we've been impacted today based on what we have or have not passed forward to this generation of children?
Well,
So I think what we have is two things. The first thing is um, the virtual reality that we
Mm,
deal with on our phones and laptops and devices and games, right? I
correct.
think that the games, for example, is causing a lot of violence because there's a lot of shooting in some of these games that, and they get bored with it. So they want to
Right.
take that assault white rifle in real life and go shoot up a church or a supermarket or stemming from the games.
Mm-hmm.
We ain't gonna waste that many bullets. We only gonna shoot, black people, we only gonna shoot the person we intended and maybe innocent bystander. But we ain't gonna go
Right.
spend all these bullets shooting up trying to shoot 20 and 30 and 50 people, right? Because that's
Right.
expensive, right? And we want to get away with it. They going on suicide missions. So I think the phones and social media is one. And I think the other thing that our inability to cope with life. So
Mm,
we're escaping through drugs and
that's a good
synthetic
point.
marijuana and crack and dope and we can't get high enough to escape our reality, right? And I'm in recovery, so I'm not just judging. I'm talking about what I've experienced myself. I know what addiction is like firsthand. So I'm not judging anybody.
Right.
I don't even want to go so far as maybe we're victims to some degree because we're not growing no poppy seeds or no cocaine leaves,
Exactly.
right? We don't
Exactly.
have no ships and bringing it. We ain't got no licenses and no imports and exports. We ain't at the docks checking. We ain't the government. You know, we don't have that much control. We're just the pawns in these games being used to to become addicted and zap all
Right.
the little bit of money that we don't have out of us, right? So we can rob and steal and go to prison and whatever. So
And it's definitely a form, from my perspective, a form of self-medication because things have gotten so bad that now people are indirectly ending their own lives just because the drugs are no longer what they used to be. It the forms of self-medication now are way worse than what it was back then. Now
yes.
it literally is a roll of a dice when it comes to anything involved in the streets. And that in itself is scary.
one more thing I want to add. What I see a dramatic difference in from my last generation, I see obvious mental health issues in people that I encounter like never before. One
Right.
out of it seemed like my 2 out of 3. Like, I mean, like if you were counting somebody in the street, they obviously going. I'm like, and how did we get from where we were at to, what has happened to cause all these mental health conditions? Is it because the parents were heavy drug users?
Nope.
Did they have mental health conditions? Were they going through mental health conditions as a result of using the drugs? And did we pass it on through the genes? Only God may know, but it just seems to be more prevalent today.
There's definitely a lot of research that can be done for you to gain clarity on what that link looks like. I will just leave it here. Look back at what it was like for us back in the day when, I mean, from even your generation, when y'all had to go get mandatory shots for school, to stay healthy, to my generation, when we had to go make sure we were immunized, to our children's generations that we're talking about. Literally go online for your own knowledge and look at the difference between then and now. It's like a 10 from your time era versus over 50 to 100 before from
Hmm.
before they're 18. It's insane. So
I have a
I'm not saying
question
that,
for you and Sparkle though, because
huh?
only it's four of us, and it seems like only me and Diane is answering questions, and you two are not answering the questions. I think the people want to hear your responses to some of these questions.
Well, absolutely. I don't mind. I just didn't want to take up the space because we are honoring the fact that you guys are even here and offering us your time. So we didn't want to kidnap the floor from you.
Okay.
However,
All right.
for me personally, since you would like to hear from us, what would be something you'd be interested in getting our perspective from our generation about?
So I think my question to you is, what do you see in your generation as
Mm.
good that maybe my generation could have done? What do you see good? Or you could
I,
if not, or what do you see good that came from my generation? You can
what
answer
I will
both,
I'm going to be brutally honest. May my
please.
mama rest in peace. I always say she laid the foundation of what not to do when it came to the arena of addiction and things and why. And so
Okay.
I consider my mother a martyr, literally in love and in an affectionate way. Like I would never want to go through what I saw her go through and what we had to go through because of what she was going through. So
Mm-hmm.
I will say for me and many of my loved ones, many of my peer groups, because again, I'm almost 50. But the bottom line is, I must say that I have witnessed personally our generation saying, no, we're just not doing that. We may do
Okay.
this, but we're not doing that. We may try, I'm sorry, guys, we may end up finding out the hard way about other things that weren't charted territory. But we knew what we were not going to do when it came to many different things that our parents actually endured so that so that we knew exactly what to avoid and why. We did not want those results. So I feel like our generation is a generation of folks that literally hunkered down and started educating ourselves and stepping away from, even if we didn't understand it, we wanted to know what it was we didn't understand. So we sought knowledge more so than maybe the generations prior. And it was more available to us. So I will say that it's not like y'all generation didn't seek out knowledge. It's just that y'all didn't have the accessibility as much as we did. And so we literally took advantage of the accessibility to knowledge and sought information out.
Yeah. And I think the main thing is what we have to realize. I'm sitting here with this iPhone 15 in my hand. This is literally a computer. Literally.
Right.
I mean, every sense of the word. I was coming up. We didn't wasn't walking around with no computers in our hand. We didn't even have
Exactly.
access to computers. Only the
Right.
big businesses had the big computers with the tapes on them and and the big
Right.
stacks of paper to print stuff. Only big businesses had that. We didn't have no access to no computers. Now I'm walking around with an actually CPU computer in my hand that can do anything. Actually could do more than what those computers back then could do. A lot more.
Correct.
So that's good point on your behalf. Major difference. The resources at our hands, right? And now with AI popping up and enhancing Google and all these other search engines, AI is affiliated now, even Facebook, everything. You
Correct.
have that is so it's just amazing.
No, I appreciate that. What were you gonna say, Pastor Hodges?
No, I was just going to say, talking about the differences. Um, my mom was married to my dad, and my dad was abusive at times.
Mm.
And I got married at a very young age, and my husband was abusive. And one of the things my mother told me was, you know what? Hang in there, because when he gets older, he'll do better. But
Mm.
my thing is, will I be around? With him, doing these things, and um, my children, my children would never take the abuse that I took. They would never, and that's
Exactly.
and that's a good
That's
thing.
a good thing. Exactly. That's a good thing
Mm.
because there are many instances like that's a really good point in relationship to what habits had to be gotten rid of.
Mhm.
Stay until no matter what, when death do us part in some situations was you being unalive because
Mhm.
of the person you're with. So yeah, I agree. There are some things we ran from that we need to stay away from. I absolutely agree there. I was going to take a moment though, Miss Sparkle. I the celebrating you, what, how, when, and would you?
Oh yeah. The celebrating you. Would you like me to do it?
Um, Absolutely.
Well, the person that is honoring, I hope he's here listening
You
to
better
what.
be here.
Um, so I'm gonna go
I
to.
asked you a question too, by the way, Sparkle, because I
Oh,
was
okay.
trying to
So
see
let me
whether or
just
not I should have
answer this.
sent him the link.
Oh yes, yes. You can do that now. You can send him the
I'm
link.
going to do that now. Kiba, if you are still on, but day, I've been
Okay,
running you
so
down all week.
I'll go ahead and just say what I want. What I would like to say in regards to this conversation in general.
Yes,
Um,
ma'am.
so I think that this conversation is a very good topic, and a lot of the things that is happening are generational and also sometimes cultural, right?
Yes,
For example, my culture is African culture, so I've Nigerian Yoruba culture, so I've learned some things there, and in combination to the culture that my mom had, which was every morning before we left, we had to say the Serenity Prayer. You know, so that is something that I was able to pass on to my children. That sense of fellowship amongst one another. My mom also did Bible study with me one on one. She tried it with our whole family, but it seems like the only person that was more interested was me. So she
yes.
did it with me, and that was something that I still do in my own way, right? So I think that those are generational cultural things and surrounding spirituality that I'm grateful for, of course. But there are other things in our culture that I'm not as crazy about, which is the indoctrination of a religion versus
Mm,
the teaching of the values and spirituality of a religion. So that like just do what I say and say as I do kind of attitude,
exactly.
those things leave a long lasting imprint and not in a great way, because I'm naturally like what they call like why you always got to be so like stubborn or not easy to follow. So when people tell me things in a way that doesn't make sense to me or not logical to me, I automatically kind of dismiss it. So I would like to say that the one thing that I will probably leave behind is the do what I say kind of tone to things versus being an example of a thing, you know. So I guess that's, I'm not sure if I answered that question. Okay. Um so you got your, wait, let me make sure I get out of this screen. Okay, there we go. All right. Welcome,
Uh,
Mr. Bones. Is everybody in here?
Yeah, it's supposed to say Kiba Bones, but it say Lena by accident. I was typing too fast. I'm sorry.
Oh, you can go back and change it if you like. All right. So we're all here. So you want to go ahead, Lakeisha, and is this the? Oh, so we're gonna wait for her. I know she said that the weather was like she said that
Acting up.
yeah, and it's like not that great with the power. But I'm thinking that she's the one that she wanted to spotlight you.
Yeah, she told me about the show last week or 2 weeks ago, and I said, of course, I'll come
Mhm.
through and support,
Okay.
Uh-huh.
and I'm here.
Okay, great.
Well, da, 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 da. Surprise, surprise, Kiba. We have introduced the Celebrating You segment
Oh
to the
wow.
show. And I told her, she said, do you have any ideas? I said, I absolutely could not think of a more phenomenal person to celebrate during this segment through your growth, through everything you've been through. So, what I'm going to do is set this off. We want tonight we're gonna be celebrating you, Akiba Bones. Kiba hails from Left Rack City, guys, in Queens, New York. He's not only a gifted rapper, but also a published author of the book Last Words, which you can find on Amazon. But that's not all. Akiba is also a chef, an actor, and currently starring in the Tubi movie Find Her. We honor you tonight, Kiba, for showing us what it's like to walk boldly in your gifts, wear many hats, and inspire others along the way. Let's give it up for our very first Celebrate You honoree, Kiba Bones, and the godfather to my baby, 30-year long
Yay!
friendship.
Yay!
Congratulations, Kiba.
Yo, I'm super humble right now.
I know.
I don't even know where to start. It's funny because my wife, she's watching the VMA awards and they was giving out awards, and I passed through and I looked at it because I was on here earlier, but technical difficulties. But long story
Mhm.
short, I watched and I was like, oh, that's good to have people getting awarded and things. And look at this right now. Like I did not know that this was what this was gonna do right now, Keisha. Thank you so
Kiva,
much.
remember I said one day we're gonna be at the award ceremonies. This is only the beginning. I'm so proud of you, big bro.
No, this is the best part right here.
I'm so proud of you.
Thank you so much. I appreciate it, everybody. Thank you, Miss
Congratulations.
Congratulations.
Sparkle, and thank you,
Congratulations.
Pastor Hodges, and
Mm.
happy pre-birthday to you.
Thank you.
Um, you welcome. Yeah.
God bless you guys.
Thank you.
Thank
Wow,
you.
that's awesome. So I want to know from you, since we have you, I don't know how long we have you here, but the topic today is generational habits in our community. Is it
Mhm.
helping us or hindering us? I just want to know, what is your take on that topic, or would you like to add or subtract anything that you heard so far? What are your thoughts?
Well, I can't lie. I was enjoying listening to the brother that was on here and Miss Hodges, Pastor Hodges, when they was talking. I love to listen to the elders speak. You know what I'm saying? This
Mm-hmm.
is how I always been. This is how I was raised. This is how I stayed alive. Actually, it wasn't the men teaching me how to be a man, unfortunately, but it was the women showing me what will keep me alive, which is
Mm,
respect, humility, knowledge, wisdom, understanding,
Yes.
learning learning how to wash my own clothes at a young age and cook
mm-hmm.
and hearing that wisdom, being around my elders or whatever. Me, growing up, I this is what I lived for. You know what I'm saying? Family. And
Yeah.
this is what's not being promoted nowadays. It looks like it's being promoted, but it's more a friendship thing, with the
Yes.
kids. Like, I'm gonna expose you to everything that's wicked in this society, but as long as I'm here for you, you don't have anything to worry about. And that's not true. You're not really giving them tools in order to grow, because I'm quite
Exactly.
sure the generation, mothers and fathers now that have these kids that's about 20 something, 30, whatever, and they're still young too. They didn't give them the real tools You know what I'm saying? They didn't teach them how to
That's true.
respect women. They didn't teach them how to respect themselves. You know,
Correct.
everything was, well, if somebody does this to you, this is what you're supposed to do back. And that's what it is. You know, and our elders might have said that, but also said, what did you do to make that action happen? You know what I'm saying? They gave you deductive reasoning back in the days. The elders gave us deductive, and it used to be in, wise word. You know how you have a person that say, my grandmother used to always say, if the rooster crows at 6, it's like, I'm just making that up. I can't really think of nothing offhand, but they gave you these things that when you turn 40 and 50 and you looking at your kids or your grandkids and you're like, and this is what you're reiterating to them because now I understand. I get it now.
Mhm.
What she meant then. You know what I'm
Yeah.
saying? So I just think like um the family dynamics have to go back to the roots. You know what I'm saying? To in order to keep the babies going straight because being a friend is cool with your children, but being a parent is way more cooler
And necessary.
and
Very
very
necessary.
necessary.
Yes,
I agree.
yes.
I
So
agree.
that's where I came from, and it's funny because I say that, but I don't tell you the other side where I never really took heed to any of that, because it was a woman thing. Like, all right, I understand what you're saying, but I don't have a man telling me, boy, you better do this and having that fear like when they talk spiritually the fear of God when you can't even look in his face you're so scared but he just wants to give you love but you're scared to look at him. That's like what your parents are there for, to keep you on a straight and narrow. Like, don't sway
Yes.
this way. If you sway this way, I'm gonna kick your ass. You know what I'm saying? And
Right.
and it'll be like, oh, let me relax. Or if I do it, let me try to do it so sneaky, which is never sneaky with real parents, because the parents know already. Just like God, He knows already. You know what I'm
Mm-hmm.
saying? But He'll let you go through it just to show you, like I told you, what I tell you.
Yep.
There's none of that anymore because the parents is going through it with the kids nowadays. Like
Exactly.
they
Mm.
going, who was saying what to you in school? I'm coming up there tomorrow, and then we standing side by side fighting
Mm.
like ignorant shit, excuse me, stuff. You know what I'm saying? So more or less, it starts with the home. It starts with the parents. We all know that, but it starts with the wisdom. If you don't have any knowledge and information to pass on to your kids, what do you think your kids is gonna? You know what I'm saying? So,
Exactly.
yeah,
Exactly. That's extremely insightful. Thank you so much
you're
for your
welcome.
input. Stick around. I'm so sorry. Sister Sparkle,
Yes.
take
So
the
we
floor
do
for a moment.
absolutely. We have some comments from our audience, but before we
Yes.
go to our audience, I would like to know: does Diane have anything she would like to add to what was just being said?
Well, he said it all, and what he said was true. So
Very good.
I'm gonna leave it. I'm gonna leave it like that. And I thank him
And
for
I and
saying it.
and to hear that from you, I'm so honored because that means that it's really for real. Because you're my elder, and I'm 52 though. So I'm up there with you, sister. But I still look at you as a big sister. You know, and it's an honor for you to. He said what he said, like and that's what it is. I appreciate that. Thank you so much.
You're welcome. You're welcome.
And
Mhm.
I'm 44. Ooh, okay. All right. Let me
Who,
let me
who,
get to the
Miss Sparkle?
Yes.
I didn't know that
You're the
either.
baby. You're the
Oh, you
Yeah,
baby.
the
I'm
baby
48.
sister
I'm
now.
up there. I'm crawling up there.
Yeah, and that's the super baby. But I love her so much because she, like, where we came from, the support was each other.
Amen.
Exactly.
It wasn't
Exactly.
from no outside. It wasn't from anything else but from each other. And to this day, it's still there, it's still strong. I would go through any hoop, length, fire, ring, anything for this lady right here because she's so pure. her love is just so abounding, like without question, like even not just for me, but for her children, you know.
Yeah.
And when she was in Alaska, like she was like that's the new Mother Hale, Mother Teresa, Mother no, not Mother Teresa, I'm sorry. Not
But
Mother Teresa, but Mother Hale, you know what I'm saying? Like Mother Teresa, that's another story. But you just keep up the good work. The
I
generations
appreciate that,
that's in
big
this
bro.
the generations that's in this chat right now is beautiful. Thank you so much for allowing me to even give you a little piece of my input.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Um, I'm gonna pass. I want to pass the floor to you, Sister Sparkle,
So we're gonna
because
go to Tamara, who's showing love from Alaska,
hey,
and then
sis. Yes, thank you guys for tuning in.
we're going to go to Tyler, who's saying, "I made it." I don't know.
Yes, thank you, Tyler.
Mad love for Lakesha from Alaska,
Alaska in the
and
building.
Yes, they are. They showing out. What's up, Dre? I got
yes,
one of my besties right now in the comment section. Thank you so much. That is
yes.
my ex-husband, but that is one of my best friends. Like,
Oh, that is wonderful to
absolutely.
me.
He
Look
has
at
built
that.
me spiritually. I am so honored to actually still be really good friends with him. So, yeah.
Talk about breaking
Thank
generational habits, right? Because it's like once you break up, you have to be arch enemies. Says who?
No, not at all. Not at all. Not at
Says
all. His
who?
soul is so phenomenal and he's so wise. And he just met, I was literally not in the best space back then. Like, I'm a system baby. So you got someone who knows structure, who knows culture, who has both parents. And then you got this wild child from the streets, literally group home, foster home. Oh Lord,
Balance.
Dre, I always apologize to God for, who I was back then. But by God's mercy and grace, his heart is so good and he's so wise when it comes spiritually. He was able to see, like, this is really a good person. She just needs help. And so thank you, Dre. I'm sending you love. I appreciate you so much. Yeah.
Yeah, he's saying showing the kids a good example. A good example is the guy in Alaska land the North Pole. He was trying to cut the line.
Oh, okay.
Mad love.
Thank you, Tyler. Thank you guys so
Okay.
much. I knew New York. I knew my people were going to show me love. They were looking forward to it. Hey, V.
Okay.
Yes. Where's Ahmed?
Ahmed wants to chime in and
Let
mention how mental health plays a huge factor in Black families and how no one ever addressed it historically because of resources and bad temperament towards people of color.
True. I mean,
Bad
Okay.
that
treatment.
treatment. Yeah, that plays a major role too. It's true.
Wow.
Oh, there's so much mental health undiagnosed uh situations now, but once again, I'm blessed to have been able to see that love from the elders from when I was younger,
Yep.
because a lot of the time it was just love and patience that cured it. What messed everything up is when they said, "Oh, your kid has this, your kid has that. He needs this medication." And the ones not
Right.
knowing said, "Okay, if it's going to make him calm down, and sometimes you need to harness that energy and direct it in the right way, and you know what I'm saying, opposed to
Yes.
saying he's just too much for me, I can't take it because of your own stresses and daily day-to-days. I need some kind of peace, so let me just put him on this Ritalin or certain
Hmm.
medications, and next thing you know, you got a lethargic baby maniac on your hands. You're wondering why he became this way and became that way. It's love to me. Now,
Right.
there's some situations that's really diagnosed as this and that and the third. I understand that. But love, understanding, patience, and a lot of people on this planet don't have that.
Hmm. Hmm.
And I'm not mad at that. That's just not how you are. And it's unfortunate to the child or, your sister, your brother, a little bit. It's
Yep.
unfortunate, but there's always somebody out there that has to connect. And that's where the patience comes in, where you find that one person that knows how to harness that energy.
Yeah.
Yes.
And I wanted to say that some of our mental health is induced, like social economic factors,
Mm,
contributing factors that are around us, our environment, our parents, our upbringing, all of those things. And then some of us are just born with special needs, mental health.
Hmm.
So I believe in the ones that are induced, that with patience, care, love, and all the things that we mentioned, which are very valuable. And it actually takes a special person to commit to that, because there's a lot of things that we have to tolerate with a person with mental health. And some days are better than others, because we ourselves might be struggling with a triggered, induced, temporarily mental health uh,
exactly.
episode. So I would like to think that the society structure, the societal structure that we live in, the so-called Willie Lynch papers, when they were, putting us against each other and forcing us to hate each other, all of that was by design, right? So
That's
some
right.
of that mental health can actually be reduced, and I'm optimistic that it will be, having conversations like these, because there's a lot of people that don't want to seek modern day mental health treatment because of the lack of trust that happened along generations, right?
Yeah.
I know a lot of my family members, like, calling 911 is forbidden in our family because of the the generational things that were done to us. Like, sometimes you would call the police and next thing you know, your relative is hanging from a tree or being abused from these officers. So it's a lot of, triggers in our generation that has absolutely nothing to do with us, but a societal structure that carries out our generation. So if my parents weren't working because of redlining, or wasn't able to raise us in a halfway decent community because we weren't allowed to live there, or we were, forced to live someplace else. So then I have my children, and then maybe they can do a little bit better. Maybe we live somewhere better, but we're in Section 8, or,
Mm,
it's still not fully compatible and conducive for an environment which a young mind can grow and develop without the mental health that is induced upon the standards on which they call quality of life of living, right? So that's what we're up against as people in America, or people in this on this continent, or people of this land, that we are being handled that way. So I just want us to remember that when we talk about mental health, that it's not that we don't want to talk about it in our family, is that we don't really have a real outlet to release it in a safe place. Because whenever time we do, we have to be remembered of what our ancestors went through when they tried to liberate their minds on this plane. So that's what I have to say about the mental health. There's layers to that, but like I said,
that is
conversations like the ones we're having now in real time,
right.
representation matters.
I
I
agree.
Yeah. Okay, let me just make sure there's no other comments there. I think I seen something else. In the meantime, I wanted to play this sound. Okay. It says, "Gotta run, take and call us Fairbanks tonight."
Will do.
Okay.
Yes.
And however, today, more people of color are taking advantage of addressing their mental health from wars, abuse, and trauma.
That's
Yeah.
true
There
too.
are more outlets than, and I think it's very helpful as well that we have more of us with degrees in these arenas as well, because for the most part back then y'all could not familiarize yourselves with people in these arenas because it was hard, um in Pastor's Day, for example, to even get a degree to work in these environments, to be there for us. Now we have um relatability. we are able to go to places and spaces where we can see ourselves in the person that is actually trying to help us. So yeah, I agree.
Okay.
I agree too. They made it like a challenge now. So whatever it takes to push forward, the unpacking of your quote unquote generational curses, or that PTSD or the undiagnosed traumas that you went through. I'm all for it, because the platforms nowadays, it just gives you that quick, I need to unload today. Hey, world, I was
Yes.
going through this. And then
Hmm.
you got the comments, and the comments is like, well, sister or brother, this is what you need to do, and or this is what you need to do. And if you're not working, well, hey, I know where you at, where you're located at, the resources to help those issues that, like you said, it was like more closeted back in the days. It wasn't
Hmm.
like, yo, I'm bipolar. You wouldn't really say that back in the day. Now everybody's coming out, I suffer from this, I suffer from
Right.
that, and somebody else would be like, me too. Or, hey, I went through that, but I didn't know that that's what it was. Well, I still advise you to go talk to somebody, check it out, but it's
Hmm.
so much
Right.
relatability nowadays. It's easier to dump. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Right.
And
I know.
oh,
Oh,
go ahead, Lakeisha.
I apologize. I was gonna say I did want people in the comment section that's still watching, to give us an idea. Drop in a comment what's one generational habit you want to keep and one you want to release. So get in the comment section. I don't care what your background is. Think about your generational habits, these things that you carry because of your family, or you watched your parents carry, and maybe you got rid of it. If you guys could just give us an idea of what generational habits you want to keep, one you want to keep and one you want to give away, get rid of, we would be awesome. So, I mean, we would appreciate just getting y'all input.
Okay, so
Everyone's
let's start
input.
with you, Lakeisha. What's one generation habit that you would like to keep, and what's one habit that you would like to rid?
I think one generational habit that my situation is a little bit complex because of the fact that I'm a system baby and it took me years to find my siblings. By God's grace, I found most of my siblings. Um, for me, generational habits involve me then finding my family to kind of see where they stood or where they stand today. Um, I have to be honest in saying that when it comes to generational habits, I don't really have a what's the word I'm looking for? I don't have a platform. I mean, not a platform. Y'all know the word I'm looking for. I just literally from 9 till 21, I was in the system, in and out of different places. So all I can do is look at the bits and pieces of family members that I learned about over the years. But because there was no consistent look at, I can say that I am fully aware of habits that I got rid of as I discovered my family. The constant putting people against each other, the dysfunction, the non-celebrating of each other's growth. Instead, it's you think you're better than those sorts of things. I absolutely knew even when I was younger with my family. This is talk. There is no way that there should ever be people upset with you because you're trying to grow. The
Mhm.
non-celebration of our growth and our progress and our desire to learn was something I absolutely ran from and nerded my children out, all 5 of them. I did not play that. They only know an environment where learning everything from different cultures to different languages is mandatory, because it's okay for us to say we deserve more, but we're going to create space to gain more so that we are not screaming we're a victim because we're uneducated.
Excuse me, but I'm gonna have to take this call. I'm gonna try
Oh,
to
Yes,
get
ma'am.
back. I'm gonna try to get back to you.
okay.
Okay.
Thank you. God bless you, Pastor.
Mhm.
God bless you all. Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay. So I guess Akiba, you can answer the question: what's one generational habit you want to keep, and what's one that you might want to get rid of?
Um, I would love to have accountability I don't know if that's inside of the question.
No, it is mandatory.
Um, yeah, I think like the norm is, well, you know how it is. This is just what it is. It is what it is, and
This is just who we are. Yep,
this is just
exactly.
who we are, and also being too meek. You know, like
Mhm.
my aunt, she looks at me. She always calls me the radical one. She's like, you're so radical," and I don't correct her because she's 90. You know, so I be like, it's not really being radical. It's just you seen Malcolm X. You know what I'm saying? Like you was there when Malcolm X was talking. You know, so it's just awareness and accountability. Like you'll never hear me saying, "Oh, well, the reason why I'm like this is because my mother and my father were dope fiends." You know what I'm saying? Like I
Mhm.
was
Right.
You know, I was born on heroin. I was you know, they had crack babies in the 90s. I was a
Hmm.
heroin baby in the 70s. I don't use
Right.
Mhm.
that as a crutch. Yeah, it existed, you know what I'm saying? But to the age I am now, the choices should never be made because you come from a long line of this or a long line of alcoholics or you
Absolutely.
know, so let's get rid of that shit. Excuse my language. I'm so sorry.
Mhm.
Let's get rid of that and let's
Yes.
keep, like you said, let's keep the what was you say? You said like let's award each other for being great
Celebrate each
and
other. Yes.
celebrate each other for moving forward and being great. You know, so that's what I
Absolutely.
want to keep. Get rid of the non accountability. You know.
Yes.
Okay, that
I'm
sounds
back.
good.
I'm back.
Okay, you came just
Yay.
in
Hey,
time for the
Pastor.
question. Just in time. What is one generational habit that you would want to keep and one habit that you would want to get rid of?
One generational habit that I like to keep. There are many generational habits that I'd like to keep, but I think one of the most important ones is for us to continue to love each other and to forgive each other and to stay focused on doing the right thing.
Ooh.
Um, the one that I would really like for us to forget about is the one where we um, talk bad about each other and
Mhm.
we tell each other that you're stupid and you're dumb and you're never going to be anything, because that's not the things that we should be placing in the hearts of our children.
Right.
Absolutely.
Absolutely.
Uh,
Thank you, Pastor.
You're
and I'm
welcome.
gonna mention there's some people in the chat too, and I have one more chat, but I'm gonna say mine is one generational habit that I would like to get rid of is like taking one for the team or family
Mm.
secrets. You know, when someone does something that is completely not of value and out of line, and just you got essay to inappropriate behaviors that are being masked and thrown under the rugs and saying,
Yes.
shh, don't tell nobody. We don't want to. I would like to get rid of that. That those secrets are making us sick and killing our parents, grandparents, and the victims of our family. I
Uh-huh.
feel like if you speak up and speak up about it, no one's perfect, but we can work through it. You know, maybe we can get ministered or we can get some type of help. But to just
Yeah.
bury it as if it didn't exist, that's one generational habit that I would like to get rid of, is to take one for the team attitude, even if the family member did completely wrong, something that is not great for family values. The other thing that the one thing that I would like us to keep, I would like to keep is what we used to eat together, fellowship
Yes,
together, and do everything
Yes.
together. A family that prays together stays together.
Stays
I want
together.
us to
Yes.
keep that. I want us
yes.
to keep that togetherness. And we have some comments too, and I'll get right to it. Ahmed said he wants to keep a bird in his hand is better than two in the bush. Okay.
Okay.
I've never heard of that. Does anybody know what that means?
Yeah, a bird in a hand is better than two in a bush. It's definitely a saying from our generation coming up.
I never
Um,
understood what it means, but I guess
Yeah, what
as
does it
long as I got a
mean?
bird, I'll
it's
always
closer
be
to
able
me,
to eat.
right?
If they're in
I
the
like
bush, I
that.
don't have anything. But if it's in my hand, I'm eating. I don't know.
No,
I'm
I like
sorry.
that. I would have never thought about that. It is closer.
It's
No.
it's from my generation too, and in a sense, it means it's better to have something in your hand than to not have something in your hand.
Mm-hmm. That's
Ah,
smart.
something small is better than nothing at all.
There we
Ah,
go. There we go.
Yeah,
that
yeah.
one makes sense the most.
Ahmed said to
Yeah,
remove
we
what
just
goes
said
on
that.
in his house. Oh, okay. Okay.
Yep, we agree. We agree, Ahmed. Thank you for watching. We so appreciate the support. Oh, go ahead, sis.
You want to read it?
Yes, the one generational habit I'd like to get rid of is the one where a parent tells their child, there's nothing wrong with you. You just need your behind kicked. I
Mm.
so agree because there are so many children, again, like we said earlier, that suffered in silence. They literally were just trying to get help. They couldn't identify what was going on with them. And, while they don't even have the terms to identify what's going on, instead of saying, you know what, let's see if we can get you some help, I'm about to tear your behind up. There's nothing wrong with you, So like we
Yeah.
did have that discussion. That was a good one, sis. Thank you.
And then we have one that is listening from home. Kids are not seen. Kids are supposed to be seen and not heard. She wants to get
Oh,
rid of that.
yes.
And also eat all your food off the plate. Eat every bite. She said that could lead to pretty much overeating and possibly diabetes because we don't practice portion control. And I want
Correct.
to I want to add to that, putting up the food to later and having it for breakfast and lunch. I think that should get rid of. Like, no, the child don't want it. Maybe have the child small portions, and if they want seconds, maybe you can offer a smaller portion of the seconds. um
That
she
comes
says.
from accountability because maybe you can't cook, and maybe the baby that's trying to be, he still fear you, but he's trying to tell you, listen, I don't want to eat that. Like there was times where my grandmother used to make like pig feet and certain things she used to make, and I
Yes.
never wanted to eat it because I'm like,
Leave that
nah, I don't
pig
want
knuckle
to.
alone.
And she be like, "You gonna sit at this table until you finish the whole thing?" And I fall asleep at the table because I refuse to eat it. You know what I mean?
Wow.
Exactly.
So yeah, it's that too.
Food
Wow,
traumatized.
yes, food trauma. Oh my goodness.
Yeah,
So
food trauma, man.
this
That's
is
crazy.
coming from Miss Nancy, who's watching at home. And she also mentioned that thinking that name brand is better than store brands, like Jordans versus buying your shoes from Payless or Walmart, or labels and designers, and iPhone versus Android. And she says what she would like to keep is generational habits, like her mother, uncles, and grandfathers showed. Always being a blessing for someone,
Mm,
helping someone, help them as you are blessed, bless someone else. Be a
yes.
blessing in someone else's life is what she would like to keep. And thank you for that, Miss Nancy, who's watching from home. And we have another one. I won't keep everyone much longer. You want to read that
Tamra.
for us?
Yes. Hey, boo boo. That's Tamra, one of my besties. Um, the one I would like to get rid of is when a child asks the parents why they respond with, because I said so. They need to be explaining the why to these kids.
Yes,
Oh,
yes.
that's a really good one, Tam. The kids will never be educated. They will never be able to put into proper dialogue why something is happening. The
Mm.
because I said so says I'm going to leave you uneducated. And sometimes the people saying because I said so don't even have the answer. And instead of them saying, you know what, I don't even know. they're going to turn around and just brush that child off because they feel like their authority is more important than letting it be known that maybe this is something we can learn together. So there's a lot going on there. You said a mouthful, Tamara.
Yes. Wow.
Definitely.
Okay, so I won't keep everyone much longer. It's been an hour and a half. Does anybody have anything? Lakesha, you want to close us out with anything else?
I absolutely want to first thank you, Sister Sparkle, for the opportunity. This was such a blessing.
Oh,
I want to thank everyone that did come on tonight. Pastor Hodges, Kiva, hands down.
You're
Again,
welcome.
always thinking about you, big bro. And everyone that is watching at home, all the support that you guys have shown. If I didn't mention some of you guys that are watching and you might be shy out there, do understand that these conversations is what helps us start taking deep dives into ourselves and seeing how we can be a part of the change we deserve. No more pointing fingers, no more saying it's because, but how can we be a part of the change that we deserve and our children deserve? These conversations are the ways in which we can open the door toward having these discussions more openly and definitely looking at solutions from different perspectives. So thank you all. Have a blessed evening. And we will do this again one day in the future.
yes. Good night. I'm just going to close us out with
Bye. Thank you.
a formal closing because this is our attempt to be professional. So I just want to say, family, thank you for being here. Lakesha, thank you so much for your presence, your joy of sunshine. You remind me of like keep hope alive. You came right when I'm like, what I'm gonna do with this, and then also, of course, Reverend Mama, thank you for joining us,
You are
and
welcome. You're welcome.
and our co-host, our special co-host right here, Kiva. I just want to say, family, what a wonderful conversation we had tonight. We've unpacked generational habits in our community, some that carry the strength of our ancestors, and others we may need to release so we can walk more freely into our future. A big thank you to our amazing panelists sharing their wisdom, truth, and heart with us. And a special shout out to our very first Celebrate You honoree, Akiba Broom, for reminding us what it looks like to live boldly, create passionately, and inspire others along the way.
Thank you. Thank you
Your
so
Thank
much.
you.
I'm
Sister
humbled.
Cipher. Oh, yes. Sister Cipher is about building community, sparking real conversations, and also lifting each other higher. Let's keep this dialogue going because this space is needed. This community online space is needed. Is needed for healing, is needed for growth and transformation. It doesn't end here. So until next time, stay rooted in love, stand firm in your truth, and remember you are worthy, you are powerful, and you are never alone. You have been watching Reality Speaks TV. This is real people, real talk, in real time. Good night, and we'll see you soon on the next Sister Cipher.
Good
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 night.
night.
Good
night.
night.
Good
God
night.
bless.
Good night. God bless.